Dear Chosen One, the Spirit is telling me to warn you right now. You are being watched, but not in the way you think. There are forces moving in the shadows, studying your every step, hoping to trap you when you least expect it. But what they cannot understand is this: you are a divine shadow. Hell has been trying to trace you, to map your journey, but every time it thinks it has you cornered, your path disappears like smoke. This is not coincidence. It is God's decree over your life, sealing your steps in a dimension where darkness has no access. That is why you are still here, when others in your place would have been consumed. Have you felt it lately? That sensation of being followed, as if invisible eyes were scanning your life, yet no one could ever fully reach you? Those moments when people suddenly turned on you without explanation, or relationships collapsed as if something beyond you ripped them apart? Chosen One, this is not random. It is evidence of a war that you cannot see with human eyes. The enemy has been disguising itself as guides, mentors, even trusted voices, whispering secrets to draw you into traps. But every time they thought they had you in their grasp, heaven intervened. The footprints they were chasing vanished, the signals broke, and they were left in confusion while you kept walking forward untouched. And what I'm about to reveal will open your eyes wider than ever before. You will finally understand why you feel hunted, why certain people obsess over your presence, and why, no matter how hard they try, their plans collapse in frustration. This message is not simply knowledge. It is a prophetic survival map that will mark the difference between bondage and breakthrough in your journey. Stay with me until the end, because by the time this word is finished, you will know with certainty why God made you a divine shadow, why hell cannot trace your steps, and why your destiny remains untouchable. And before we go deeper, type shadow in the comments right now to declare your divine covering. Like this video to strengthen the message, and subscribe so you never miss what heaven is releasing for you. Chosen One, what you have been feeling is not paranoia. It is confirmation from the Spirit. That uneasy awareness you carry, the chills down your spine when you enter certain places, the sudden heaviness that falls on you out of nowhere, these are not random sensations. They are the evidence of an invisible battle that surrounds your every step. Hell has been attempting to position its spies around you, trying to gather information, trying to anticipate your movements. But the Spirit of God blinds them. Every time they think they are close enough to capture your direction, your trail vanishes into nothing. Because your life is hidden in Christ, and no darkness has the key to unlock that realm. Look carefully at the patterns of your past. Strangers suddenly drawn to you for no reason. Long stares that feel invasive. People connecting with you as if they already knew you, only to suddenly disappear without explanation. These encounters left you unsettled because you sensed there was more going on than what you saw on the surface. Chosen One, these were not coincidences. They were spiritual tests. Some of those people were vessels carrying the enemy's agenda, unknowingly or knowingly, trying to study you. And when their assignment failed, they vanished, leaving behind confusion, but also proof that heaven had erased their access to you. The Spirit says this clearly: beware of those who come dressed as guides, mentors, or helpers, speaking words that sound deep and mysterious. They appear with promises of sharing secrets that could elevate you, but in truth, they are fishing for the light in your spirit. They are not sent to pour into you. They are sent to extract from you. If you look back with spiritual eyes, you will recognize the pattern. Every time such a figure appeared in your life, instead of being uplifted, you walked away feeling drained, disoriented, and weakened. That was not wisdom. That was a trap disguised as revelation. And because of that, you have felt inner confusion. One moment you thought you had found support, someone who finally understood your journey. The next moment you discovered you were caught in webs of manipulation and half-truths. That sudden heaviness pressing on your chest, that strange silence in your spirit, was not just emotional fatigue. It was warfare. The enemy was trying to blur your spiritual vision, to make you doubt your own discernment. But chosen one, the Spirit of God never left you. Even in the middle of that trap, heaven was working behind the scenes to break you free before it could consume you. What you thought was rejection was actually interception. Every time you cried over someone leaving, it was heaven erasing your footprints. Each time a connection dissolved without warning, God's hand was wiping away the trail before the enemy could follow it. You saw only the pain of the loss, but you didn't see the spiritual ambush that was prevented. You felt the wound of abandonment, but you didn't realize that if those people had stayed longer, your destiny would have been compromised. God has been shielding you in ways your human eyes could not recognize. This same pattern is written all over Scripture. Just as God hid Elijah from Jezebel, just as Moses was hidden in the wilderness, just as Jesus disappeared from the crowd that wanted to kill him before his time, the Spirit has been hiding you. Chosen one, you have been kept in secret places, walking through valleys where no one could truly follow you, because God has been covering your steps with divine darkness to confuse your enemies. It is the same hand that shut the mouths of lions in Daniel's den and parted the sea before Israel. That same power has been erasing your tracks before the hunters could close in. And hear me clearly, the signs you have been noticing are not accidents. They are spiritual markers left as evidence that you are walking under divine concealment. That look in someone's eye, that strange pull to connect with you, that sudden break in communication, these are not coincidences. They are signs that the enemy has been trying and failing to track you. Stay with me, chosen one, because I will expose these patterns one by one, and you will never again confuse a trap for a blessing. By the time this revelation is finished, you will see with clarity what was hidden all along. Chosen one, the enemy rarely attacks you head-on because it knows your spirit is too sharp to fall for obvious traps. Instead, it comes disguised as opportunity, appearing as a voice of guidance, a mentor, or even a spiritual leader offering shortcuts to power. They dress their words with mystery, making it sound as though they hold the key to your next level, but underneath, they are carrying poison. The Spirit reveals that these voices are snares designed to lure you away from your divine path. They are counterfeit revelations that sound holy, but are hollow, meant to distract and weaken you. When you remember those who promised to unlock secrets for you, yet left you emptier than before, understand, those were not teachers. They were thieves disguised as helpers. Chosen one, you must grasp this truth. You are not a common person living an ordinary story. Your presence carries an assignment so weighty, so rare, that the enemy identifies you as a threat to its entire system. That is why the level of interference in your life feels relentless. You've faced betrayal after betrayal, strange jealousy from people you barely knew, and doors closing without explanation. Hell assigns unusual persistence to its pursuit of you because you carry a mantle that cannot be duplicated. Your very existence is an insult to darkness, a reminder that light can still break through. You are stalked in the spirit, not because you are weak, but because your destiny intimidates hell itself. Picture this clearly in your spirit. Hunters moving silently through the wilderness, scanning the ground for tracks, convinced that they are only steps away from their prey. They move faster. They whisper to each other that victory is near, only to suddenly discover the trail has vanished into the wind. Panic sets in, confusion overwhelms them, because what they thought they controlled has disappeared. That is what the enemy experiences every single time it tries to trace you. They believe they are about to strike, and then your path dissolves like mist before their eyes. You are carried in dimensions they cannot access, hidden under shadows they cannot penetrate, moving in rhythms they cannot hear. Now imagine the frustration this causes in the kingdom of darkness. Countless plans are written against you, countless ambushes prepared in silence, countless traps carefully positioned along your journey. Yet, the moment they attempt to strike, heaven scrambles their signals. Their communication is shattered, their strategies collapse, and confusion spreads among them. They argue with one another, unable to understand why their schemes never succeed. Chosen one, do you realize the power of your hidden life? You are the source of their greatest irritation because they cannot trace a destiny secured in God's shadow. The more they try, the more their own chaos increases, while you continue to advance untouched. And this explains why certain relationships in your life suddenly collapsed. That close friend who betrayed you without reason, that partner who turned cold overnight, that mentor who withdrew their support the moment you were about to rise higher, none of it was random. These were not accidents. They were exposures. The enemy attempted to use these people as spies, as access points into your life. But when their mission was revealed, heaven severed the connection. What you interpreted as rejection was actually deliverance. It was God's intervention cutting the cord before damage could spread deeper. Though the pain felt real, it was saving you from chains that would have destroyed your future. Every fallen mask, every false friend who walked away, every sudden distance that left you questioning yourself, it was heaven at work. God Himself was removing the hidden cameras the enemy tried to install around you. The disappointment you carried in those moments blinded you to the truth. Those people were never meant to stay. They were spiritual liabilities, disguised as companions. If they had remained, they would have stolen the blueprint of your destiny, or at least slowed it down. But your steps are too sacred to be exposed, so God ensured they would exit before they had the chance. You cried over their absence, but heaven celebrated your protection. Chosen one, listen carefully. This cycle of pursuit and failure has a divine purpose. You have been wondering why the enemy's pursuit is so relentless, why the attacks keep coming, why the monitoring never seems to stop. And yet, no matter how close they seem to get, they fail every single time. This is not random. There is a reason behind this pattern, a revelation hidden within the fabric of your journey. When you see the truth behind it, your perspective on every past betrayal, every sudden loss, and every season of isolation will change forever. You will finally recognize that what looked like chaos was, in fact, choreography, heaven's dance of concealment, keeping you untouchable in the face of relentless pursuit. Chosen one, here is the revelation the Spirit pressed into my heart for you. You are a divine shadow, and that is why hell cannot trace your steps. Your identity in the Spirit is cloaked in mystery, hidden under the covering of God's hand, so that no monitoring spirit, no jealous enemy, no demonic trap can truly find you. You walk in a realm where your presence is felt, yet your path is concealed. The enemy thinks it sees you, thinks it has mapped your route, but suddenly it loses all sight of you. This is not luck. This is divine strategy. It is God's supernatural fingerprint on your life, marking you as one who cannot be caught. Understand this truth. Your light is not your own. It is a reflection of the eternal light himself. Because you mirror the presence of God, the darkness cannot interpret you. You are like a code written in a language hell cannot read. Every attempt to decipher you ends in failure. Every effort to corner you collapses into confusion. Chosen one. This is why people are drawn to you with an obsession they cannot explain. Some admire you, others envy you, and some even try to imitate you. But beneath it all is a desperate attempt to understand what cannot be understood: the divine mystery of your identity in Christ. This is why certain individuals became fixated on you, watching your every move, trying to copy your words, your style, your essence. They thought that by studying you, they could capture your power. But what they did not realize is that your shadow is not a reflection of you alone. It is a reflection of God's glory walking with you. And no matter how close they come, they cannot unlock what was sealed by heaven. Chosen one, their obsession with you is proof that you carry something they cannot grasp, something that confuses their spirit because it was never meant for them. The Spirit reveals that God Himself has been deliberately scrambling the signals of your enemies. When they rise against you, they suddenly lose direction. When they plan against you, confusion enters their camp. Just as God confused the armies that came against Gideon, just as He drowned Pharaoh's chariots when they pursued Israel through the sea, He has been turning the enemy's plans against themselves. Every time they attempt to follow you, they end up trapped in their own net. That is why people who cursed you ended up cursed themselves, and those who plotted your downfall ended up falling instead. Chosen one, your life is a divine paradox. To those in darkness, you appear both near and far, both visible and invisible, both reachable and untouchable. They cannot predict your moves because you do not walk by human logic. You walk by the Spirit's leading. Just when they think they have figured you out, God shifts you into a new dimension. Just when they think they have learned your rhythm, heaven changes the beat. You are always one step ahead because you are not walking in your own strength, but in the untraceable path of divine shadow. Do you realize what this means? Hell is wasting its resources on you. Demonic forces are exhausting themselves, sending people into your life, stirring up attacks, engineering betrayals, and yet none of it sticks. Every effort to cage you only strengthens you. Every trap becomes a stepping stone. Every attempt to expose you only exposes them. The reason the battle has been so intense is not because you are weak. It is because you are carrying a destiny that cannot be stopped. The harder they try to trace you, the deeper they sink into their own chaos, while you rise untouched. And the Spirit whispered another layer of truth. Your season of divine lockdown was not punishment. It was preservation. God hid you from people, places, and opportunities that would have been premature, not because He was denying you, but because He was protecting you. You were placed in a kind of holy quarantine, sealed away where the enemy could not reach, where you could be refined, trained, and sharpened. What felt like isolation was actually insulation. Chosen one, you were not forgotten. You were being prepared. And soon you will understand why this hiding was necessary. Chosen one, what you thought was isolation has been the very shield that kept you alive. When doors closed, when invitations disappeared, when circles of influence pushed you out, You thought it was rejection. But in reality, it was heaven's emergency lockdown, securing you before the enemy could infiltrate. God knew that if you had been exposed too soon, your light would have been smothered by false alliances and spiritual traps. That loneliness you felt was never abandonment. It was divine protection. You were kept away from rooms that looked appealing, but were poisoned at the root. And though your heart ached for inclusion, God loved you enough to hide you from destruction, because your destiny is too precious to be gambled with. Every closed door was an act of mercy. Think back, chosen one. Each time you thought you missed an opportunity, later you discovered it wasn't what you imagined. Every job that fell through, every friendship that soured, every relationship that collapsed, behind those endings was the hand of God sealing off access points. Because when God closes a door, He is not only protecting you from stepping into the wrong place, He is also closing the path the enemy hoped to use to reach you. The Spirit says, "Stop mourning what left, for it was never meant to nurture you." What felt like rejection was actually heaven redirecting your destiny so that nothing unholy could track your shadow. This is why the enemy has been stirring rejection in your life. It wants you to believe you are unwanted, forgotten, or unworthy. But the truth is, you were hidden because you are chosen. Chosen ones often mistake concealment for abandonment. But God never abandoned you. He veiled you. He covered you so thoroughly that those who were not ordained to walk with you could no longer even recognize your path. They could not see your steps. They could not sense your direction. Because heaven cloaked you with a shadow the enemy cannot penetrate. Chosen one, you were never alone. You were invisible in plain sight, and that invisibility was your safety. Think of the image the Spirit is painting. You walking through a battlefield while invisible to every radar, moving past soldiers, traps, and weapons aimed directly at you, yet none of them firing, because none of them can lock onto your presence. That is what has been happening in your life. You have been moving through storms that should have destroyed you, through valleys that should have swallowed you, through fires that should have burned you, and yet you remain untouched. Why? Because you are walking in the divine shadow, where your enemies lose track of you, where hell's technology malfunctions, and where every radar fails. Chosen one, this entire season has been training you to live by faith in the unseen. God has been stripping away your reliance on what you can touch, what you can calculate, what you can predict, and forcing you to trust what you cannot see. The Spirit says this clearly. The hiding was a classroom. Every lonely night was a lesson. Every unexpected betrayal was an exam. Every disappointment was a spiritual drill. You were being shaped into a weapon that cannot be tracked, a soldier that cannot be ambushed, a child of God who can walk boldly even when the path looks invisible. You were not lost. You were learning how to follow divine coordinates that only heaven can provide. And now the time is coming for your transition. The Spirit says, you will not remain hidden forever. The shadow that once concealed you will soon reveal you, but in glory, not in vulnerability. You will step into spaces where the same people who once underestimated you will no longer be able to deny you. But this time, you will not enter as prey. You will enter as proof. Proof that God preserves what He anoints. Proof that the enemy can chase, but never conquer. Proof that what is hidden in God cannot be stolen. Chosen one, the next season will be one of revelation, where your hidden years will speak louder than your silence ever did. This unveiling will not be like before. You will not come out exposed to traps. You will come out armored in wisdom, clothed in discernment, and surrounded by angels. Where once you were a shadow that could not be traced, now you will be a light that cannot be ignored. The same Spirit that hid you will elevate you, and the same God who erased your tracks will now establish your footprints as pillars of testimony. Those who tried to hunt you will watch in shock as you rise, untouchable and undeniable. And every eye that sought to monitor your fall will be forced to witness your ascension. Chosen one, the Spirit says to you now, not a single season of your concealment was wasted. Every hidden moment, every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every tear cried in silence, has been written into your story as preservation. What looked like delay was actually acceleration in disguise, because while you thought you were standing still, God was building fortresses around you. You were not denied, you were secured. And now the Spirit is declaring that this season of misunderstanding and invisibility is shifting into a season of revelation and manifestation. You will no longer question why you were overlooked, because the evidence of God's protection will rise around you like walls of fire. Chosen one, hear this prophetic decree. No plan of the enemy will succeed against you. Every attempt to sabotage you will backfire. Every curse spoken against you will reverse into blessing. Every pit dug for you will become the grave of those who dug it. You are sealed in the covenant of Psalm 91, hidden under the shadow of the Almighty, shielded by angelic assignment, and untouchable by the weapons of hell. Even when you sleep, heaven does not. Even when you rest, the shadow of God guards your steps. This is why you survived storms that others drowned in, why you endured attacks that broke others, why you carry peace that confuses everyone who watches you. And the Spirit whispers this over your life. You are already victorious, not because of what you have done, but because of what you carry. You walk as a shadow that belongs not to darkness, but to divine light. Wherever you go, the atmosphere shifts, not because of your presence alone, but because of the presence of God overshadowing you. You are a living paradox, visible yet unreachable, present yet untouchable, ordinary in appearance, but extraordinary in assignment. Chosen one, your destiny has already been sealed in victory, and the enemy has already lost his war against you. Chosen one, reflect on this truth. Every attack, every pursuit, every stalking spirit has been proof of your greatness. You were never hunted because you were weak. You were hunted because you are rare. The intensity of the opposition confirms the magnitude of your calling. The fact that hell spends so much energy trying to trace your steps is proof that your destiny carries a weight beyond what you can yet imagine. If you had nothing valuable inside of you, you would not be pursued so heavily. The warfare you face is the enemy's testimony that you are carrying something that heaven treasures and hell fears. And so now I call you to respond. If this word has pierced your spirit, if it resonates with your soul, declare it publicly. Type the word untouchable in the comments below as a prophetic seal over your life. Write it boldly as a decree that no power of darkness will track you, no assignment of the enemy will find you, and no plan of hell will succeed against you. Let your declaration be a weapon, not only for yourself, but for every other chosen one reading with you, because your voice carries spiritual power. And as you release it, angels will mark your steps even more securely in the shadow of God. Chosen one, I urge you also to remain connected to this flow of revelation. If this word stirred something in your spirit, do not let it fade. Like this video to strengthen the message, subscribe so you never miss what heaven is releasing in this season, and share this with another chosen one who needs to hear it. The enemy works in secrecy, but the Spirit works in exposure. Every time you spread light, you weaken the grip of darkness. Your engagement is not just support, it is partnership with heaven in amplifying the prophetic voice meant to set souls free. And now receive this closing prophecy. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of a greater unveiling. You are not just surviving, you are ascending. You are not just hidden, you are preserved for impact. Hell has wasted years trying to trace you, only to discover that your steps are sealed in God's eternal blueprint. Chosen one, walk boldly, because the same shadow that hid you is now the light that will reveal you. You are in the safest place you could ever be, in God's plan. This is your season of confirmation, elevation, and victory, and no darkness can stop it. Hell cannot trace your steps, and heaven has already prepared your crown.